Hello and welcome. It is October 9th, 2023, 7 o'clock p.m. EST, and you're watching the Dovecote. Today, my special guest is Stargazersasha. Stargazersasha, or just Sasha. Feel free to say hi and introduce yourself.
Yahoo! Hi everyone. My name is Sasha. I currently am probably best known as the facilitator and caretaker of an online trans art collective called Reliquary Street Station. I am also a tabletop role-playing game author and artist. Um, and yeah, you might know me from some of my games, including my Belonging Outside Belonging game, The Girlfriend of My Girlfriend is My Friend, which was my kind of breakthrough success. Um, so yeah, I haven't been in the habit of writing too much lately. I've kind of just been living my life. But I still care deeply about role-playing games and games of all sorts. And I am very happy to be on the show with peer and someone who I admire and look up to greatly. So thank you so much for having me on, Eclipse.
Well, thank you for coming. I'm very excited to have you. I think your games have been mentioned. I mean, I'm a serial Sasha game mentioner,
Oh god.
so I think your games have been mentioned a couple times on the show already.
Aw.
Um,
Well, thank you. That's sweet.
yeah, I really like your stuff, and I'm excited to talk about the news of this epoch of this era. Um,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
also just kind of shoot the shit and ask you some questions about your own work and yourself. I mean, we've been friends for a while now, so like
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have as many questions for you as I might have for some other people. Um, but I guess like for the sake of the audience, just to start, could you tell me a bit about Reliquary Street Station, a place that I inhabit as well?
Yeah. So Reliquary started out as a a jam server that I created for a jam that I ran in March of 2022, March to April. That jam was the Trans Fucking Rage Jam, a game for which Eclipse and I both wrote some work. Definitely go check that out and check out the rest of those games because not just games. It was an art jam, so there's some games, there's a lot of poetry, there's some zines, there's a lot of really cool shit. And yeah, so so I kind of created that. I kind of made that jam out of kind of like an emotional necessity where I was like, I need to be around other trans people right now and like have an outlet for my like anger and frustration because that was when I think that was when there was this really there was this bill that was introduced in Idaho. And like I said, this is a year and a half ago, so I don't remember all the exact details, but it was a bill that criminalized families from um, trying to flee the state um, to protect their transgender youth. Um, and like actually, when I saw this, it was actually kind of close to the beginning of what would become a much larger thing,
Hmm.
like nationwide. But anyway, I was very in my feelings about it, and I wanted to just be around other trans people. So I whipped up some graphics and like suddenly, and I made that Discord server, and suddenly there were like hundreds of people in there within days. Um, it was it was very overwhelming. Um, but yeah, and then like the jam was only meant to last for 1 month, but there was so much creative energy. I ran some more jams. I think I ran a total of three like larger month-long jams and then 13 1 week like mini jams. and all of them yielded just like unbelievably wonderful selections of work from artists that I admire a lot. So I am like very, very indebted to them and like very honored to like work alongside them. Um and yeah, so I haven't the last jam that I ran was the trans fucking jam, which was earlier this year. I'm gonna run another jam soon. I think it's gonna be the trans disability jam. Um so I guess be on the lookout for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, but yeah, Reliquary is like a really cozy space. You know, we're just kind of like we just kind of dick around and post art that inspires us and post our own art and like yeah, it's pretty chill.
um I'm also gonna post the first of the Reliquary jams, the like 13 seasonal jams, because those are
Yeah.
really cool. Also, is this a uh I actually don't know. Um
Hmm.
do you know if the link in the Reliquary Street jams for Reliquary Street Station is still active? Because I'd love to.
Still works. Yeah, so
Okay,
we've used the same permanent link.
get in there. If you're looking for like really cool, a really cool digital artist commune, get in the zone. It's really good. Um,
Mhm.
I've met a lot of really great friends and collaborators there, um, and highly recommend it. Now, you mentioned that you might be doing another jam.
Yeah.
Uh, do you feel like you have enough info on that to tell us what that might be, or are you holding back on that for now?
I haven't like sat down to work out the details. I mean,
Hmm.
like usually my style is just to come up with some baseline aesthetics and like just like a general vibe. Try to describe that vibe as best I can with graphic design and words and then kind of set people loose. I think that like the awesome thing about jams is that they can be about pretty much anything, and I feel like a lot of people really enjoy kind of like the more open-ended um style that my jams have.
Hmm.
Like I think that was a really big pull for people at the beginning.
Yeah, they're very
Um
emotional, like very emotionally directed.
yeah.
Yeah, I like them a lot. Um, now, one thing that I don't think I've ever actually realized is so you submitted for Trans Fucking Rage Jam both Kenzie's project and Wolves Inside Me.
I
Was
did.
was Kenzie's project from before that, or was did you make both of them for that?
Um I think no, I Kenzie's project is much older.
Okay.
Um Wolves Inside Me was the zine that I created for Trans Fucking Rage Jam. I submitted Kenzie's project because a lot of the people in that Discord were like I realized that a lot of people from that Discord didn't necessarily know or like weren't familiar with all of my work, and so I was like, you know what? And I showed it off to some people, and they were like, "Holy shit! I didn't even know like that this is in your catalog." And I was like, "Well, as long as this thing is still open, and I'm the person who kind of makes the rules, I think it's okay for me to be a little um self promoter."
Mhm. Mhm.
So I decided to put that one in as well. I think it does like channel the vibe, but in a very different way from Wolves Inside Me.
Hell yeah. Um, yeah, I think like I guess how would you describe your like aesthetic? Because it's really kind of iconic and distinct. I think.
Oh my gosh! Well, that means a lot to hear from you. I feel like I think of you as as having a very iconic style,
Well, thank you.
for sure. um, so I am So I started writing tabletop role-playing games because I felt like something was missing from the conversation.
Hmm.
And consequently, after putting a ton of my work out there and having people look at it and like actually being able to see like the marks that I've made, the ripples that I've made in the sort of itch tabletop sphere, as it were, I've kind of found myself with less to say over the past like year and a half,
Hmm.
which is why I haven't been writing as much. So I characterize my work as, bright, colorful, not necessarily always like chipper. Like there's always like, I don't know, my work always has a lot going on and it's very concerned with um like moments in day-to-day life and what we take from them. How we let like how as a tree builds its branches, we live our lives moment to moment, not knowing where we will go next, but having been created by this rich genealogy of moments. And I think that like that's a really important part of my philosophy in general. And I think it lends itself really nicely to tabletop role playing games because it's really nice to sit down with your friends and be like, we don't know what's gonna happen. We're here together and we're doing this ritual because we want to find out what's gonna happen. Um, and so yeah, I think that like my work definitely comes from an urge to let tabletop role playing games be wild and like live on their own. Like I am a big fan of GM-less games, and I like games where characters all have authorship over the story. And like I also just like broadly enjoy playing with how characters influence their own stories. Like um well, yeah, I could go into specifics, but yeah. Yeah.
Hell
I
yeah.
guess like yeah. I could say more, but yeah.
I definitely agree. Like I think from what I've read of your work, it's always very like, I don't know. I think this is both true about your work and also like the like meta narrative of your work. Like there's a lot of like narrativization and like I don't necessarily know where I'm going with this, but like I feel like there's like a there's a very narrative vibe to like everything that you do, which I really appreciate. Like everything is like split into like
Hmm.
seasons and chapters and like uh ages. um
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think definitely like I have things divided on my itch page into um send emails to darlingcommuniclips@gmail.com.
I'm trying to find
Um
a good spot for that.
it can go between us, I think.
Yeah, it needs to be a little bit more accessible.
Oh
I'll
yeah.
figure it out.
Okay, yeah, so I definitely have things designed by like or like divided by kind of like the the eras in which I created them. So like season 0 prologues is like these are the first projects I published and I didn't really have any intent for them beyond like I just need to put this into a document and put it online. um and then season 1 was kind of like my first like real creative exploits on itch. And so like if you want to get into my work, you should read Girlfriend and you should read Kenzie. You can get both for
You
free.
should.
Um, and so Girlfriend is my best known game. It's a very stripped down GM-less game that uses the belonging outside belonging um system kind of. And if you're not familiar with it, belonging outside belonging is a I would describe it as like a tradition or lineage in games that comes from Avery Alder's Dream Askew and Dream Apart, which I am forgetting the name of the other author.
um
I'll look it up.
yeah,
Um,
someone.
um, Benjamin Rosenbaum.
Okay.
Um, and and in those games, rather than rolling dice, because because you don't have a GM, you don't have anyone who's like whose role in the story is to set up conflicts for your character. You are the one who sets up conflicts for your character. You are the one who introduces um conflict and complications to your own story. And so in that game, your main moves are separated into 3 lists. There are the weak moves, which are moves that show vulnerabilities of your character and set up conflicts for later. And those moves earn you 1 token when you use them. And then later, you can spend a token to use a strong move where you can show how you've grown and your character's strengths. And yeah, you can kind of like take the spotlight for a minute. And that taking the spotlight is a real thing, is one of the things that I that really like caught me about that really like stuck with me. And then the third type of move are the neutral moves, which are the other thing that really caught my eye when I read and then played that system for the first few times. So neutral moves are like the others, except you can just do them whenever. It's a list of moves that is there to characterize your character by just like giving you a list of things and saying, here, if you don't know what to do, you can always do this. Neutral move might be something like shine light on someone who hasn't had a chance to speak up for themselves. Or a neutral move might be fiddle with something in your pocket, or it might be change your clothes. Just like stuff that your character might do, not like game-changing things, but they're idle animations.
Yeah.
And so cantrips. Girlfriend is their cantrips. Is that what you said?
Yeah. They're idle animations, yeah. They're cantrips.
Yeah. So yeah, and Girlfriend is definitely a love letter to the neutral move, because I feel like I was reading a lot of games and I was like, I don't know if you guys really get it, or I'm seeing something in here that is not being said, and that's why I want to say this. So in this game, there are no strong moves and no weak moves. There are only neutral moves, and then I replaced the kind of ebb and flow of the strong and weak moves with my own invention, which is an arc and finale. So every character has an arc condition, and then you have a certain number of boxes that you check, and you check them every time you hit your arc condition. And then when you've checked all your boxes, you can have your finale. You take your finale move, and there's a list of things that you can do. And then, and this is a really important part, after you have taken your finale, you erase your track, you cross out your old arc condition, and then you create a new one. You have to figure it out on your own from then on. So I created all of the playbooks to be like kind of like silly characters that are kind of bumping around, and but the playbooks represent the characters at the start of their story. There is a lot of room for them to grow, and they're like to send you off and to figure out your own story with.
I really like it.
Anyway, yay.
Yay.
The other thing about thanks. The other thing about Girlfriend that's special is that a lot of games make it really hard for you to take new moves, and I'm specifically talking about D&D. Like, if you, I don't know if y'all have played D&D. God, I hope not.
I swear, I hope not.
No, I'm joking. Kind of, or am I? No, I've played D&D in the past, and one thing that's so frustrating about it is that it takes forever to like add new things to your character sheet, and it just pissed me the fuck off when I played it. And so in this game, you add a move to your sheet after every scene. Not even once a session, every scene, and it can be a new move that you come up with by yourself, or it can be a move that you learn from another player that you spent time with in that scene. So like maybe if you're like an insecure baby trans character and you hang out with a character who is not afraid to correct someone on his pronouns, for example, you might learn a move from his playbook that's called correct someone on my pronouns, and you might write that down in your own book. And then already when you start your next scene, you now have 6 moves instead of 5, and that 6th move is right there, and you have authorship over your list of moves like that. You're always adding things, and you're always crossing things off when they don't no longer represent you. So whereas playbooks kind of came out of D&D's type of kind of classes where they represent like a type of story you can tell and a type of person you can be. My playbooks are not like that at all. They represent you in one uh, moment in time.
I
They
love the
are
soup.
who. Hmm?
I love the soup of it. Like I love because like I feel like you're so
Did you say
right.
the soup?
The soup, yeah. Because like
Oh,
uh, we like the easiest way to understand ourselves sometimes is to say like, oh, we're this archetype, we're this type of guy, but in reality, like we're a mix of everyone we meet and also some other things.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I also really wanted to capture because like there's a kind of truth to it. If I've had the pleasure of playing my own game a few times, um, and there is a really nice sort of like truth to it where like when you're friends with someone, this just does happen,
Mhm.
and like being around people, you kind of you pick up parts of them and you kind of meld into each other, and friendship. And I think this happens especially a lot for trans people earlier in their transition. Like that's the other thing that I'm not saying, kind of like the vampire's reflection in this conversation is
Yeah,
that I wrote this game in September of 2021.
right.
So I would have been like, yeah, I was like literally 1 month on HRT when I posted this on Edge. So this definitely represents me as like I was definitely like, figuring stuff out. you know?
That's beautiful.
I was really at the beginning of a lot of stuff. And so I wanted to create something that really like captured and honored that experience because well, yeah, I just think it's really important
I do
to
too.
have that.
Um, I think a lot of my early stuff was also kind of exploring the early trans days. Like
Hmm.
it's good. I really like Girlfriend. Um, yeah, and then I really enjoyed a lot of the season 2 stuff as well. I mean, we read Wolves Inside Me actually for the
Oh
Queer
yeah.
Games bundle on here, which was really really great. I really like Wolves Inside Me.
Thank you. I was
Yeah,
here for that. I did get to hang out with y'all while we did that, and that was awesome.
fucking awesome. I actually have not read Heart Melter. It seems like the game that you've made that like it's weird because it feels like it's like gift wrapped for me, and I should just read it sometime. Uh,
I think you might like it.
yeah.
Um, it's definitely not like anything else I've written, and it's like 2 pages, 1 page front and back.
Mhm.
So yeah. And by the way, for anyone listening, if you're like, this sounds cool, all my games are available for free because I want that. So go read them if you would like to. And
Cool.
I did you delist warehouse bitches?
Did
Oh, it's
I?
an ash can. Oh, you delisted the ash can. I'm looking at
Yes.
the wrong link. I
Now
was
there's a
I was trying
sexy
to find the
version.
warehouse bitches because yeah. Yay.
Yeah, this is the
I
game that
was
I made for Trans Rage Now.
yeah. And I would love to talk about I would love to talk about your experience with
Yeah.
because you've made I think at least 3 because you made that one, you made Rank and Vile. I don't remember what Rank and Vile was made for, but I definitely felt like you I don't know actually if you were part of if that was made for one of the Reliquary gems, but you definitely posted a lot about it in Reliquary, so I felt like
Yeah.
um yeah.
It
And I love
was
Rank and Vile. What an awesome like work of game design. I'm a huge fan of
I
it.
still need to run it. It hasn't been play tested ever.
Oh my gosh, we need to play this.
We do.
I am just like enamored with your sense of aesthetics in all of your games. I love how like I don't know. I just love how they look. I love the way that you fill up a page. Um, and yeah, Rank and File's awesome. Warehouse Bitch is awesome. And then with Crowley, you made
We live for
We
we
Live
love to live.
Forever. That game is a masterpiece. I need to go back and reread it actually. I love this game so
So
much.
freaky. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, we really. Anyways, I mean, I'm happy to talk about my stuff if you have any questions, uh, also, you are my guest, so if
Oh.
if you as my guest want to talk about my things, you're free to. Uh,
Enough about you. Let's talk about me.
yeah. Um,
um,
but yeah. Uh, I guess I'll kind of ask my like default ask questions that I ask.
okay.
Um,
Yeah.
so let me so I guess to start, tell me about uh what upcoming games are you most excited for?
Well, my beautiful wife contributed a whole lot of art to a game that y'all probably all know. It's Yazeba's Bed and Breakfast by the lovely folks at Possum Creek. Um, and I have been very, very excited for that to arrive. Um,
Actually, I'm just gonna open my
so
copy of Yazeba's and I'm just gonna pull up the poly art in it.
yeah, we should show it off. Yeah, my wife is an artist and she is always cooking up something really amazing. Um, and yeah, so for Yazeba's, so there's a character named Hey Kid who is a demon like young teen. Um, and my girlfriend, my wife even, was hired to do all of the art that's drawn from Hey Kid's perspective.
Here we go.
So like every time Hey Kid like draws themselves, yeah, see that's a Yazeba drawn by Hey Kid, drawn by my wife.
Yeah, it's really good.
um, and then there's like a comic, and then there's like Hey Kid is a huge fan of this kind of like a little bit like a little Sailor Moon, a little Steven Universe show called what's it called? Adam Scouts?
Yeah, I
No,
think
no,
so.
sorry. And the show is called Neutron Gal, and the Adam Scouts are the characters, and they're freaking awesome. She like really poured her heart into this project.
Yeah.
So yes, and I'm only talking about like one part of Yazeba's. Yazeba's is a gigantic project that yeah, lots of people contributed their work too. But oh my gosh, yeah, look at this.
It's so
Oh,
cute.
wait, zoom in on the first panel because I love the demons. The mm, yeah,
I've gotten
oh,
I've
I
gotten a
love
chance to hear some Hey Kid lore that most people are not privy to, and I love Hey Kid.
yeah. Hey Kid is
It's
awesome.
so good. Um, I'm seeing if there's any more poly art in here. It's a big ass book. It's really good. I've been playing Zeeb with my friends. Actually, I forgot that I had Zeeb on Mondays, and then I started this up, and I was like, oh no. So I got to figure that out when we're playing Zeeb again.
Hmm.
I'm sorry to all my friends. I'm sorry to Jacqueline, Steven, Wimes, uh, 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 Blue Moon, aka Bright Side of Darkness, and am I missing anyone? I think it's everyone. Yeah, I can't find. I don't think there's any other. Maybe there is, but I can't find it. Um, I also really like Heart
Really.
Sword in here. Heart Sword has Hodag art. Hodag's very cool. I like Hodag a lot.
Mhm.
I'm gonna just pull up now, since we're in here.
Yeah.
I will pull up Heart Sword because it is really good. Yeah, just some like OSR ass art in the middle in the middle
I
of the book.
love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
It's really good.
It's Yazeba's Bed and Breakfast is meta in a really delightful way.
Yeah.
Um, and I think also like I think Yazeba's also influenced Girlfriend a lot because I think
Mhm.
like that's when me and Jay were like we were cooking, we were talking a lot.
Right. There's definitely some
Um,
cross influence there.
yeah. Like the arc and finale mechanic from girlfriend is pretty similar to the Journeys mechanic from
Yeah.
Eusebius. They're pretty different though. And I'll just kind of like leave it at that because you should definitely go read both games if you want.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, great game. Definitely, we influenced each other a lot. Um,
Hell yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
so that's the one game I'm excited about. I feel like it's a cheat answer for me to say Sapphic World, but oh my god, I'm just so excited for Sapphic World. I still have to sit down and read the Ashcan that came out a couple of days ago. That came out. Okay, the Ashcan that you posted a couple of days ago.
It was summoned.
5 days ago. Um, and yeah, but oh my god, I love Sapphic World so much. I talk about it all the time. So I work at a game shop also, and I'm always talking to people who are like, into D&D mostly, or they're into like games in general and they want to get started with tabletop role-playing games. I love recommending Sapphic World to those people. I love being like, well, my friend, um and yeah, there's like I have like a whole sheet of games that I recommend to people that are
That's
like
awesome.
free or like basically free, that are by people on itch that have like so many good ideas that I want to get out into the world. And I think that um yeah, well, I get to talk about my friends at work.
Hell yeah.
That's a privilege I have.
I was
um
talking with an anonymous writer for Sapphic World. We're playing Sapphic World with tomorrow. Uh,
Yes.
uh,
Oh, an anonymous.
anonymous
Oh,
writer. Um,
okay.
uh, and they were talking about how like because I had joked to them before that Sapphic World is an OSR fantasy heartbreaker because of the spells because they're like really
Yeah.
they're more like ruling than rules type stuff. Um,
Hmm.
and sh- uh, I was like, you know, Sapphic World is kind of what I would do if I were to design D&D for the most part, with like some sex injected into it.
Hmm.
So I feel like recommending it to D&D people is actually pretty smart.
Can you say more about that? I'm curious because I mean I mentioned it earlier, but I haven't really played D&D in several years, so I'm curious like where that influence shows its head.
Yeah. Um, trying to think of the best way to explain this. Like, I think actually a good way to explain this, not to just drag a bunch of other shit into it, is like, um, so I've been playing a lot of RPG video games lately, and I played
Hmm.
Starfield and Cyberpunk 2077, and the skills in Starfield are all like percent increases, where it's like you are 10% better at you do 10% more damage, you do 20% more damage.
Hmm.
While Cyberpunks are all like, when aiming, you get like a stacking buff, or you can do this completely new thing. Um, and my problem with D&D is kind of the same thing same problem that I have with Starfield, which is that like none of the abilities are interesting. And so
Hmm.
I think that Sapphic World is the like in this metaphor is the cyberpunk skill system equivalent, where it's just like everything is interesting, everything is a new ability that does a thing. um
What's Cyberpunk?
the video game 2077, the like CD Project Red RPG. um
Oh,
Sorry, this
okay.
metaphor might be confusing, but my point is
I
that
know
I
of
think that
it.
D&D's like skills are boring, and like abilities are boring and features are boring. um
Yeah.
and so part of my goal with Sapphic World is just whenever you finish a session and you get to rest in a commune, I want it to be like, okay, what cool new thing can I have my character be able to do now? Because I think that's
Yeah.
really important, and like that's the fix that I would make to D&D, and then also I added gay sex to it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I remember So there was a Magic the Gathering set that was really popular called Strixhaven, and it's Magic's kind of take on, and therefore Wizards of the Coast's take on Magic School. And the Magic set is really fun, and there's a lot of really weird stuff in it. And then there was a D&D book that is a guide to Strixhaven.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that's interesting because D&D and Magic on paper take place in the same world, but they are very cagey about, minding that boundary. Um, so um so I was like, well, I would love to see like what goes on in this book. And then I open it up and like it's like you get to choose a college, and if you choose this college, you get access to this spell. And if you choose this college, you get +2 to these stats. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? That's all you have? Can you come up with something else? Can you come up with new material? Like I'm coming like if I'm a Magic fan, like, I don't want this to just turn into me shitting on D&D, but I do love to shit on
We
D&D.
can shit on D&D as much as you want.
But like if I'm a Magic fan, right? And I'm like, "Oh, I know this place because it was in that one set that I liked. I wonder, maybe this will be my gateway into the world of D&D." And then you open the book and it's like, okay, if you decide to live in this dorm and make friends with these people, refer to page 252 in the Dungeon Master's Guide to take these advantages. And it's like, oh my god, is this fun to you?
Do you mind if I complain about D&D?
Certainly not.
So one of my least favorite things about D&D is spellcasters. Because like, hang on, I have this open. I'm just gonna show you all. So, cleric, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
level 1. Actually, you surely have like a rogue for comparison. So, I was noticing this when I played Baldur's Gate 3 because it uses basically just like the D&D 5e system. And it's really bad. So like, level 1, you get stuff. Level 2, you got stuff. Level 3, you get nothing but a new spell slot and a new spell and some spell slots for it. So, at the same level that you're getting nothing, the rogue is getting roguish archetype, and I guess in Unearthed Arcana they're getting steady aim, which is like a whole new subclass. Like, they're getting 2 moves, bonus proficiencies, and assassinate. It's like, it's not a very well designed game.
Oh god.
It's not very good.
This is why I played D&D with my friends in high school for like a few sessions because I think we all got bored. But like, oh my god, like actually sitting at the table and trying to navigate a D&D session is so boring.
Yeah.
There was this really weird bleed thing that happened where like I as a person was like not initiated into the fact that this game is mostly about doing violence to fantasy creatures.
Oh god.
And like there's other stuff in it, but most all of the class abilities are about hurting people. And like I don't know, I just wasn't prepared for that. Like no one said, "Hey, do you want to play D&D with me?" Just so you know, it's a game where you commit genocide. like I just kind of wish someone had said that. And so during the game, like there were times when I was like, god, I just really am not comfortable with this. And my super helpful dungeon master, who was trying really hard to make me have a good time, was like, that's okay, we'll just take your character and make him into a super pacifist, and everyone else will make fun of him and draw attention to the fact that he hates hurting people. And we'll make that your character arc. How does that sound? Yeah, fun times.
Yeah. Holly and I were talking.
I can't even honestly say that he was bad for that because like, what did I want? I don't know. Not to play this game. Sorry.
Holly and I, one of the stories last week was this like quote unquote cozy Ghibli-esque D&D setting, Obojima, and we were just like,
Owojima.
Obojima,
Oh,
uh,
sorry. I thought you meant Owo like the
Ojima would be really
emoticon.
funny. Um,
Yeah.
and we were just talking about how like it's so the emphasis on like killing creatures in these games is like so gross. I don't like it.
Yeah. It's like it's gross. Was it that one was it that one that had AI art and it was really obvious?
No, so that was actually an official D&D thing. That was one of their books.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wait, no, I think you're talking about a secret third thing because I don't think
Oh,
that's what I'm
okay.
thinking about either.
There are so many D&D books with AI art. We took a scroll through Drive Through RPG last episode as
Really?
well, and there's so many like amateur books with AI art. It's kind of disgusting.
So like, okay, so this is unrelated, but well, it is related, but it's not about D&D, but it's about AI art. So one of my hobbies is card games. I love trading card games, but also specifically, I've always loved custom card creation forums.
Yeah.
I love like doing a little bit of game design for a game that you play a lot. And ever since like those advancements were made in like the AI art that people could just whip out, those all of those forums, all of those custom card forums for Magic, for Legends of Runeterra, Marvel Snap, literally every card game, like completely unusable if you're someone who doesn't like looking at AI art. Completely unusable.
Yeah.
Like, and it has like kind of destroyed my soul a little bit. I can't lie. Like like OSR people are kind of something else because I've never been an OSR person, so I can kind of just be like, oh well, I just won't go on there. But with this, it's like, no, I'm watching something that I care about crumble in front of me, and no one else seems to have any idea that this is wrong except me, and it drives me a little bit insane.
Yeah, it's not human. Like it's gross. I really don't like AI art. Um,
Yeah.
but you know, that's how it is. On a positive note, what are what are some like trends or like yeah, like what are some trends in like indie TTRPG design that like have been exciting you? Any
Um. Let me think.
or just in the scene, not necessarily design. It could be industry stuff too.
I feel like there's been a lot of like, so like my work is very like, I would describe it as minimal maximal.
Mhm.
So like I I care a lot, and I like curate my image pretty carefully online. Um and like I put a lot of work into the aesthetic qualities of my work and the presentation. But at the same time, like I don't like giving people too much to look at. Like I want to provoke your thoughts about like one or two things, and I want everything else on the page to draw your attention to that. And so I'm kind of like, in that way, I'm kind of like a, but my work is still like very like all over the place, and like no two pieces that I've published have been aesthetically too similar. Um, and I think that I've been seeing more and more of that as the last couple of years have gone by. And I'm definitely biased also by the kind of people I hang out with because like yeah. But yeah, I've been seeing a lot of like people people smashing together like poetry zines and tabletop games and like this and that. So I think like a lot of people have, that tweet that's like, I want more, I want fewer games, or I want more games by people who are paid more to work less, and I'm not joking or whatever. That I feel like that has definitely become more of a reality lately, and I am living for it. I appreciate it a lot.
I feel that.
Um, yeah,
It's good.
I like I like the MS Paint games. I like games where I can see every brush stroke.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
I also like an MS Paint game. I should make an MS Paint game one of these days. Um, hell yeah. Uh,
yeah.
we're coming up on I know you had some concerns about we didn't really discuss this off stream. I know you had some concerns about the length of the show. Um so I think we'll hop on to the news bit now, if that's all right.
Sure. Do you mind if I take a short bathroom break?
Yes, let's take how long do you want? 5, 10?
5 is good.
Okay, we will take 5 and we'll be right back. See you in a bit.
Yahoo! Thank you. Bye, everyone. See you later.
See you in a bit.
Yahoo!
Hello, we're back. Actually, I forgot that I usually use the Dovecote waiting screen for BRBs, but you know what? We're mixing it up today. Um, that's fine. Okay, so we're gonna get started on our news. I forgot to even bring in Intrero for the interview. What am I doing? These birds are gonna be so mad at me. Um, I'll bring in Intrero. Oh, hang on, wrong. There we go.
Oh
And
my
then
gosh, I love that.
I gotta bring in Cordis too. Cordis for the news. Hang on, Cordis, come on in. There we go.
This is delighting me.
Yeah, I forgot to do the birds. We were so deep in the conversation. With the arrival of Cordis, we have the news from the front line, from the war.
Well, we shouldn't joke about that though.
Oh, that's true.
'Cause
I forgot that there is actual shit going on.
That shit just happened.
Yeah. Whoops. Really, a couple weeks ago, I shouldn't have come up with that bit. Cordis is in peacetime right now.
Okay.
So let's talk about RPGZine.club. It's gonna be our first story. So this
Okay.
is a this is a project, a like subscription service. Why is it not working?
Mm-hmm.
By Plus One EXP, which is a like distributor slash publisher type thing. And they're doing like a like mailed in RPG like zine thing monthly, which seems really cool. The there's like, it seems like it ranges from like $20 to $30 a month. And yeah, it seems neat. And there's also let me see, there's also going to be this motley so there's going to be story zines, adventure zines. You can either get both or one of those, and then there's also going to be this motley thing, which is just going to be like a big like smorgasbord clusterfuck.
Have they made the can I look at that on like their website?
I don't know if they've made a website announcement about
Plus One
Motley. Let's
Games.
see.
Oh, one of their products is called System Doesn't Matter.
Yeah, Plus One has some stuff
Oh, system.
going on.
Oh, I see. I see. System agnostic tools and settings from your favorite games. That's not what I expected it to be.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's a funny ass thing to title a page on your website, though. I'll give them that.
It is.
Also love that these. Wait. No, I shouldn't say that. That's too mean.
Yes, that's
No,
the
I
thing that
shouldn't. I
changed.
should. I should say because I don't think it's that mean because
Be
I
nice.
recognize it because okay, so I use a graphic design software called Canva. A software is a bold word because it's a browser it's a browser thing. But I've tried a bunch of things and I actually genuinely prefer Canva a lot. And I can tell that this is made. I can tell that these graphics are made with Canva because of the glow effect that the adventures, stories, zines have. I just recognize that effect.
That's beautiful. Good for them.
Which is funny. Like, yeah. Canva's good though. This is a word in its favor.
Yes, Canva is good. So they have, so it's like 18 for either, 34.2 for both, and then 50 for like, I guess game store like packs, which seems
Wait, oh my gosh, my game store totally could do this. Whoa, holy shit.
hell yeah.
5 stories each month.
What is this about pizza?
I'm gonna do this.
Oh, okay.
I wonder if I could talk my manager into doing.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, this looks super fucking cool. And I hope like I mean, I don't know what it will look like, but I hope that this will get some eyeballs on smaller creators' work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very curious to see what this will look like.
So these are a little low res, but it looks like the first one is going to be some sort of spin bottle game, and then Guys in Chairs, which I've never heard of.
Guys in Chairs.
The Corrupted, which I've never heard of. I mean, to be clear, I'm saying I've never heard of this / pause. Like, it's good. It's good that I've never heard of these things. And then Layers of Unreality, which seems interesting. Compatible liminal horror. Yeah.
Ooh, liminal horror is fun.
And then this is just going to be a bunch of stuff. Moves, PBTA manifestos, PBTA moves, lyric games, cool art, whatever else they can find lying around. And it looks like there will be submission information for Motley. I maybe I should release a more finished Treasures, Guys, and Realms manifesto for that. That could be fun. Um,
I would love to do some work for this kind of project.
Me too.
Like, can you what if you subscribe to this and then suddenly, oh, it was me, a friend.
Suddenly it was Stargazersasha in there. That would be. You should.
That would be so lovely. Like, because I'm not really on Twitter anymore.
Mm.
So there's a lot of stuff that I do miss, and I feel like people have generally kind of dispersed a little bit. Like a lot of the people that I used to follow kind of went separate ways, and so, even if I was still there, a lot of people have. I just got really depressed for a second, but yeah. So there's lots of stuff that I missed, and it would be fun to receive that news this way.
Yeah, I am kind of curious about like I mentioned in my notes like how much this is going to be like existing partners and what do you call it, like existing partners and like existing creators putting out supplements, or like like I guess uh for me it's like I didn't hear about this before it happened, and so I'm like curious what the selection process was for this. It seems like it's good because they have some cool stuff in there. um
Mm-hmm.
I just hope that like I don't know. I think this is a really good chance to like widen the net of indie games and like let in a lot of people who maybe haven't really gotten a chance. And I hope that these are able to do that.
Yeah, completely.
Um, yeah, I don't know if I have much more to say about this. I don't know if you have anything else.
No, it's exciting. Yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm not really familiar with plus one exp. I don't about us. What is plus one?
They're interesting. They do like both like facial hair balms and games. It's kind of an
What?
interesting, yeah.
Oh
Um,
my god, that's plus one is a brand that multi-classes and tabletop game design, beard and skincare, alchemy, and being content champions. Okay, this kind of goofy. I like it.
yeah, they do a lot of like distro stuff. Like I've actually talked to them about Sapphic World stuff at Outpoint. But they were basically like, get back to us when it's more done, which fair.
Oh,
Or when
yeah.
you have more of a sense of what you're doing. Um, yeah,
Oh,
they're really good.
the balm products are all named after D&D stats. That's
Yeah, they're cute. I mean, it could be trying to think of another game that has those stats that's not Dungeon World. I think they had. I think they have like separate releases. Like I think this is just their current release. Um,
this is such a fun thing to be looking at now.
yeah, it's
For those in
cute.
the audience, those in the audience, I just signed up for laser hair removal, so I
Right.
will be.
This doesn't matter.
I will be smooth soon.
You'll be smooth.
um. Anyway, I've been thinking a lot about facial hair. All good things.
It's interesting. I've considered because I have not shaved in a bit, and I'm kind of getting to the point where I need to do it. And I'm like, what if I just didn't shave above my lip? What if I just had a girl
Yeah.
stash? Like that could be fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love facial hair. I love women with facial hair, and I think it's absolutely wonderful. But I have felt for a while that like I'm just like I just want to be at peace with the world, and that means that I would like to make this my reality.
It's time for a
I
new
have
era for
the
you.
yeah.
Cast a spell on you that gives you everything that you ever wanted.
No, you're a sweetheart.
Um,
Does this to you as well?
aw. Do you wanna talk about tabletop news?
I have something very serious to say about tabletop news,
Okay.
which is why does everyone in the world feel comfortable stealing Darling Demon Eclipse's bit and just pretending that they came up with it themselves. That is highly disrespectful and shameful to me.
Okay, I will be real.
Everyone is way too comfortable stealing from powerful trans women.
I did start the Dovecote because of this tweet.
Did you really? Oh my
yes.
god. Wait, that's so funny. I didn't know that at all.
So,
and
let's talk about this.
I didn't see this tweet until today when I was looking at it, when I was like reviewing it to like, you know, prepare myself for this.
Okay,
and I was like, oh, they actually I was like, oh, they actually did get to it first.
So, Tabletop News. Actually, let me see if I can find their Kickstarter. Tabletop News.
They did a Kickstarter? I'm not that prepared.
Yeah, I didn't have that prepared. I forgot. So, Tabletop News by Watch Tabletop.
I mean, I'm not prepared because I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. I totally forgot to put that in the notes. A $169,000 Kickstarter, which is like, you know what?
Jesus.
It's a lot of money, but it's not as much as like some really overblown Kickstarters have gotten like in the last couple of years.
What are they gonna do with that money? Well, I guess we'll talk about that.
They're producing like a show in like a studio, like a high fidelity. It's expensive to like get actors and, you know.
Okay.
So they found their show, you know, in, when was this? October. Wait, no, that wouldn't be. October 2023 would not be right. It was last updated then. Let me see if I can find when they made their money. All updates. Here we go. I'm seeing if they have their like digital awards are coming out in August. God, they were really running for a while. Backer kit. Okay, the campaign ended on April 20th, 2023. So they've been going for like 5 months, which isn't actually that bad on like execution for something of this size.
No, that's pretty quick actually.
So they're starting Thursdays, October 19th.
Yeah, that turnaround is really fast.
It is pretty impressive. They have a lot of like footage of stuff, so I think they like recorded a lot. You know, like over this course. But yeah, I have really complicated feelings about them. So they're a tabletop news show, right? Like a high fidelity, like dropout ass tabletop news show. I only say that because there's a lot of overlap.
Wait, like, what's dropout?
Cast. Like Dimension 20. I don't know if you like Brendan Lee Mulligan.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
It used to be College Humor. It's like College Humor's subscription service.
Okay.
This just has some overlap in talent, from what I understand.
Okay. And what do they do?
They do like APs and also like a lot of like improv comedy stuff. I actually really like a lot of the stuff that Dropout does. Except they play a lot of D&D. But me and Piper talked about that in our first episode.
Okay, sickening.
Yeah, so I worry that like, so I barely am able to get 3 stories out because a lot of tabletop stuff is just like repeating discourse. I worry that it might be hard to do like a high fidelity, like, here are the big stories in tabletop this week.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder like what the structure is gonna be. And then you get into the stuff that like actively kind of pisses me off. Let's talk about the tweet that made me start this show. So, Tabletop News. Calling all wordsmiths and researchers. Tabletop News is hiring for a lead writer, staff writer, and researcher positions. Let's amplify our tabletop community's voice together. Which, first of all, I hate this. This is so like nothing.
Okay, wait, hang on. Let me read this. Let me zoom in.
Let's amplify our tabletop.
Lead writer, staff writer, and researcher positions. Let's amplify our tabletop community's voice together.
What? I just don't really like that. I really don't like that sentence. It's like a really kind of nothing corporate speak.
Let's amplify our tabletop community's voice
together.
apply
Let's.
to this job so that we can help you to help us, to help our community
Our communities and
and
our
our
spaces and
communities,
our
voice the
bodies.
community in our spaces, are be the voice of your
Be the
generation.
voice of your body.
Be
Um,
the be the voice that comes from your throat.
is it union? Asks at Kooks.
I was murdered.
Hi, our show is a non-union show, which means all of our contracts are non-union.
Non-union, and then the fucking blushing smiley face.
Blushing
Oh my
smiley.
god. 34 views.
Yeah, that tracks. They're
34,000
beating.
views.
We got Winter. We got
They're beating your ass in
Hippolyta.
the cartoon.
Got Beth Werewolf.
Oh my god. Wait, do you remember when I oh, this is reminding me of something that I want to talk about later.
Yeah,
This is so funny. Oh god. Eclipse, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do about our society?
I don't know. I'm not being so. This was a response. I'm not being sarcastic when I say I know it can be hard to trust. We tend to use a lot of emojis to showcase kindness in our posts. As for Korea, we are non-union there as well, which, truth be told, is fairly standard for web style productions. So, like,
Oh
I
my
also
gosh.
said
Okay,
this.
emojis. Ui gooey uwu awa epic non-union shop shoe
Shop.
shop. Ooh.
Yeah.
Regarding emojis, something really funny happened. This was like one of the last things that I ever experienced on Twitter, and I'm trying to find it because I posted it on my account.
Yes. If you find this, please send.
But someone I think I don't want to name drop this person because what if they find me and kill me? But deleted by the post author. But it was like you should be able to create D&D worlds without hardship, no slavery, no oppression, no disability. There should be none of that. And someone quote tweeted them saying, I literally cannot fathom the mindset that leads someone to desire speculative fiction to be scrubbed clean of real life horror and hardship. How do you find any truth in that? How do you not feel infantilized? And the OP replied, you have a very narrow imagination, and then a trans flag and then a sparkle emoji. And I screamed. I screamed when I saw that.
Awesome.
Anyway, I'm just giving I'm just being reminded by this.
Yay.
Yahoo!
Yeah. The problem with this post is not that they're non-union, which, like, whatever, that's just like the way that they operate. I mean, they should be, but like this is a communications person just telling people that they're non-union. This is really insensitive during like a pretty significant. I mean, I think this was during the strike. This is August 21st. So like,
which is over now, right?
It's like kind of still going. There's also like some talk that it might go into video games, and I'll have to like change my streaming stuff, which will be interesting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like,
I'm not very educated.
Kind of on the way.
I'm not very educated about union stuff in video production, so I don't want to pretend to be. But I do love dunking on people on Twitter.
Yeah.
So my cards are on the table.
In positive, as positive, I will say. We'll just listen to this. Hang on, let me. I do really like JPG, who's one of the hosts, the giving this game. I'll just play it.
Hi everyone, I'm JPG. Ooh, my favorite tabletop game.
Oh, I can't hear it.
TTRPG called Monster Care Squad from.
They basically just said that they like Monster Care Squad. It's one of their favorite games, which that's nice. It's cool to see. Oh wait, this is for later.
Speaking of Monster Care Squad,
yeah, that's the last one, which is kind of a really funny jump from that to SBG. But no, I think that's nice. I think it's cool to be awesome when you swim in water. Sorry, that's an inside joke that I have about Monster Care Squad. What's my? Sorry, I'm in a weird mood today.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can be weird with our show.
That's true. So
it's your show.
thesis on tabletop news. Do you think that having a big tabletop general news show will be good for TTRPGs? Do we think that?
Okay, so it's time for my thoughts.
Yes.
So I am I feel like there's like every time every time there is intra-community discourse about like quote unquote creators who have quote unquote money. Every time there's discourse about this, all of the studios are very eager to point out that they still have like less than 1% of the amount of revenue that Wizards of the Coast does, which I believe. I'm not. I believe that, but I feel like there is a certain threshold, and like there are people who you have 10,000 followers on Twitter. You make enough to support yourself and your loved ones, and like once you've made it that far, like there's not a lot of give back that can happen afterward, because like that I guess arm of the community is so isolated from the rest of us, I feel. Like despite that they have a lot of influence over us, they're like whoa, you're living in your own world, and these Twitter interactions, that one that you showed on the screen and the one that I read from a screenshot, these Twitter interactions kind of highlight it, because it's like this is not a conversation that you would ever have with someone like in real life.
Yeah.
Like you would never say that to someone. There's such a disconnect.
There are people there are people who the most advanced thought they've had to have about fantasy is like whether elves live in the city or the forest, and they make like $100,000 a year. And they have like health insurance.
God. I have health insurance.
And that's how it is.
Yeah.
That's the beauty
anyway,
of games.
so these people have money, good for them. They're definitely going to be talking about D&D, good for them. They're definitely going to be talking about like whatever Matt Mercer decides to do next. Good for him, good for them.
Be talking about with the DC Cinematic Universe TTRPG whenever that comes out.
What the fuck did you just say?
That's not a thing that's been announced or even discussed. I'm just
I'm
speculating.
Oh my god. See, you're the one who knows these things. That's why it's your show. You could tell me anything and I would believe you.
Did that Avatar game ever come out? The Avatar The Last Airbender game did come out and it sucked.
I own it. It's on my shelf right now.
Yeah. Heard some bad things about that one.
I actually liked it. Maybe that's a hot take, but I flipped through it and I was like, as a game that is probably going to be a lot of people's first game, I don't think it's bad at all. I mean, like the parts about like the parts about Korra are bad because Korra is bad.
Korra's a bad.
Korra is just full of bad politics in a bad setting. But the actual gameplay of it is nice, and I like that. They do something really startling, which is that none of the playbooks have anything about bending in them.
Oh.
They're kind of more about like your character, what they want, what forces are pulling on them, and how they interact with what their balance is. Every character has like a balance between two extremes that are pulling them, that gives them their character. I don't know. There is there are some things about it that I was like, okay, that's cringe, or like, okay, they did not think about this at all. But overall, I feel like they definitely gave me something to think about, which is more than I can say for most big box games.
I'll have to read it and not talk shit about games that I haven't read.
Well, I wouldn't say you have to read it, but you could definitely let me tell you about it.
Hell yeah.
I bought that because I mentioned earlier I work at a game store. One of my coworkers came back from a con. and brought back like a box of free stuff that she had got. And so I picked up that copy of Avatar, and then also a copy of a role-playing game called Tales of Zadia, which actually was mentioned in one of the tabletop news. I was like scrolling through. Zadia is Xadia.
Oh, the Dragon Prince game.
Yeah, which I don't know. I have literally never heard of the Dragon Prince before I saw that, so I don't know what that's about. But the game seems pretty cool. There's like kind of like there's a little bit of a BOB element to it where like if you fail a check, the DM can quote buy it from you by giving you a token to introduce like something else, like a surprise, but then you get to spend the token later to take control of a scene. And I don't know, there was some cool stuff. The characters have pronouns, like the bar is on the floor, but at the same time I do enjoy looking through it and seeing some things that are cute. There are some trans characters in it.
That's good. I stopped watching the Dragon Prince when after an important moment there was a scene where a character implied that one of their horses had perhaps farted, and then another character was like, no, that was me. And it was just, I was like 19 at that point, and there was no reason for me to watch that. I was, all right, this is for kids. This is for the kids.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not too bad, but you know, we grow older.
We grow older.
How old are you?
We get old.
You can't be older than me.
I'm 25.
You are older than me. I turned 23 this year.
Hell yeah. Well, you know. Awesome.
Awesome. Anyway,
awesome.
Sorry, I don't know. We can move on from
this. Let's talk about. You want to talk about COVID? You want to talk about the virus?
I actually do want to talk about the virus.
Talk about COVID. So, I'll start here because this is probably better. So, Big Bad Con was like a week ago or whatever.
What the fuck is Big Bad Con?
Big Bad Con is a convention. It's hang on, let me actually get specific dates. Big Bad Con.
Tabletop and live action gaming. Oh, they're LARPs.
Yeah, it's like a gaming convention basically. It was. Yeah, it was like the week of like the 30th, so like a week or two ago.
Okay.
So a lot of tweets, as you'll see here, of just by looking up, you know, Big Bad Con COVID, are coming out. People are testing positive for COVID after Big Bad Con. And a thing that the reason why I thought this was like notable, the reason why I thought this was newsworthy is I think like you specifically as a guest have like a lot of experience talking and like discussing COVID from what I've seen.
Yeah.
And then also I just think like we're reaching a like almost the opposite of a boiling point. We're reaching like a lukewarm point where it's like every response to COVID is kind of matter of fact and a little bit nonchalant and cavalier. And I kind of wanted to like talk about that and kind of get your thoughts on it.
Yeah.
Because I see so many of these tweets and it's just like, in case you're not, I'm seeing more Big Bad Con posts testing positive, folks testing positive for COVID. If you were there, please get tested. And I feel like a couple months ago, this would have been like, you know, there would have been some sort of element to it, some sort of like discursive element to it, some sort of like, you know, oh, like maybe we shouldn't be doing these cons in person, and now it's just kind of matter of fact.
Yeah, you pack your shit, you go to your con, you come back, you get COVID, you get better unless you don't get better, and then you repeat in 3 months or whatever. I don't know how often people are going to cons. Oh, I do know that PAX West was a couple of weeks ago, months ago, like maybe a month ago.
Yeah.
And I just I had friends who like went, or like who knew people who went, and I was like, wear a mask, and they're like, oh, haha. I'm like, well, I'm not joking, but okay.
Yeah.
And like, you know, just like riding on the train home, it's like, oh, I'm the only person wearing a mask in here, and there's people wearing packed lanyards with their little tags on them, and oh yeah, I bet you came from PAX. Yeah. I wonder why you aren't wearing a mask on the train though. That's kind of funny to me.
Yeah. Um, the one thing I will say is pretty much every like all of the I think PAX West had some weird stuff about masking. A lot of the big bad con stuff that I've seen has had people masking, so that's at least a positive.
Oh, that's good. I have been to a number of mask required events this year, which are very scarce, but they do exist, and I do seek them out. But even at those events, like I went to Trans Pride at my city, and it was a mask required event, and there was a desk at the front when you went in. And granted, there were a lot of ways to get in, because it was in a park. But yeah, there was a desk, and there were signs all over the place that were like, "Wear a mask. Masks are required." And like, despite that, I only saw maybe 20% of people wearing a mask.
Con.
And I was like, damn, like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
I think any event over a certain size should just be mask. I mean, I think anything indoors should be definitely mask required. But yeah.
And I also like, because I work at a game store, and like game stores, like back during the great unmasking of 2021, kind of like in fall 2021, people decided like, oh, okay, washing my hands, done. And that at that time, I remember that game stores and like bookstores and that kind of vibe of place, those places were like kind of the places that were like, okay, I feel safe here, and we're gonna keep masking here because we're not like that. We are, intellectual. We care about each other, and like we're part of a community because we're all local, and like for game stores especially, I felt like that was a really important thing for me. Like I would go to Magic pre-releases and everyone would be masked, up until this year. And then all of a sudden something just shifted, and every game store in my city dropped their mask requirement like within 3 or 6 months of each other.
Jeez.
And like all of a sudden I'm like, oh no, I'm just alone.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's
very
shame.
Cool. So yeah, I think something definitely has shifted. Like I have never stopped wearing a mask, besides like there was a period in 2021 where I was honestly not that educated about COVID, and I did stop wearing a mask in certain circumstances, but I would always wear it like on transit and stuff. I would never even think about. And well, anyway. But yeah. So difficult to say. I think that like a lot of people don't really understand how bad it is. But then people who do understand, like, so a lot of people have really bought into kind of like the personal choice type of talk that we get from public health officials. And it's like,
yeah,
it is bullshit. It does suck. And
I
like
got COVID around the time that it first manifested, and I still don't feel the same. It's really bad.
I know, yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people with long COVID, and even like sometimes I'll be talking to customers at my store, and they'll be like, my well, they'll just talk about like having certain symptoms that they don't have an explanation for, and I'm always like, have you had COVID? And they're like, oh well, yeah, but I got better. And I was like, well, maybe you didn't get better.
Yeah.
Because and a lot of people don't really know what long COVID can be, and I only know it because I have immersed myself in online spaces full of disabled people, full of like fellow disabled people, because to navigate this shitty hell world, you have to be supported by people who know how to support you. So well, I just talked about like 10 different things. Sorry.
It's okay.
Cons.
Cons. Pros,
Cons.
cons.
I have never been to a con actually. I've been to music festivals
I
back
went
in
to
the
one
day.
con. I went to one anime con back in the day. It was like a very
Oh,
niche
cute.
New York one.
That's fun.
I'd like
I
to
feel
go
like we
to an
both live
RPG
in
con.
big
Yeah.
con cities.
Yeah, I'm just on the island, so it's a bit harder to get up there.
Oh, that's right. The island.
The island.
Have I ever told you I really like your eyebrows on your model?
Thank
They're
you.
very cute. They're very pretty shape to look at.
There's actually a rule with them that I'm really glad that this model, like the person who designed this model caught it, which is that the horns almost like generate from the eyebrows.
Oh.
Yeah. I really like
Oh.
I had a lot of fun designing this original design. It's really fun.
Yeah, you look great.
Thank you. You look great.
I like how
I mean, I know I
like how
drew
big
you.
Yeah, I realized I forgot to say this earlier. I should have said this at the beginning, but I fucking love everyone clap your hands at the model that Eclipse drew of me. I love her so much. She really captured my energy.
I'm glad. I kind of just stole Polly's design for you, but yeah.
but she has good bones. I like her.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I came of age, like we were just talking about age, and I guess it is kind of relevant. So I came of age right before COVID. I moved to start college in 2019 fall, and then I had 4 months, and then oh shit, like pandemic. And then I have been staying at home since then. So I have never been to a convention. I wasn't even really into tabletop role playing games before COVID, so I really like a lot of the kerfuffle about, oh, it's just too bad that we don't have cons. It's too bad that we can't hang out with our friends. Like I fully just am an outsider to that because I have only known tabletop role playing games online. And I mean, with exceptions, like I do hang out with my friends and role play, but I wouldn't like go to a whole new group of people that I don't know and role play with them because that sounds terrifying in person. And I guess cons are kind of similar where like, yeah, I mean, like if circumstances were different, I definitely would love to go. And also it's very complicated because I don't have to go to cons for my work. And I have friends who like, you know, they kind of have to be out there in some respect. And that is something that I can't wrap my head around because, well, I don't know, I just don't live that life.
Yeah. It's it's really complicated. My hope is that people are just masking and that, you know, they're doing their best to test. And I think it's important that people who go to these cons put pressure on the cons to like have mandate masking, honestly.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
I hope that folks are like protecting the immunocompromised folks in their lives because like it's really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also as part of that, I hope people come to realize that like everyone at this point is immunocompromised. Like it's like because COVID immunocompromises you, and so many people have gotten it.
Yeah.
And people don't know that, and I wish that they knew it. So yeah, like as part of that, like I've heard people say things to the tune of like, oh well, I mean, I'll take precautions when I'm around people who need it.
Right.
But it's like you should be taking precautions for everyone, including yourself. Because like if you take precautions but only around, for example, your disabled grandmother, well, if you are going to the grocery store, do you just not expect to see anyone who is disabled there? Do disabled people not have to grocery shop? Etc. It's very easy to when you think about it, but people aren't thinking about it. So, you know.
You got to think about it.
I think we should all think about it. That's my take.
That's the most important part. And maybe do something about it. if you can.
Well, I think we should pay attention to what disabled people are saying because they are
Yes.
correct. Because
So-
they are living the life that you will live. So anyway, you should pay attention to them.
Yeah. Would excuse me? Would you like to answer one email and then wrap up?
Ooh, an email?
We have one email.
Oh, an email question. Send emails to darlingdemonclips@gmail.com. What's the
There's
email?
there's one email. From SV. I'm sending you the text. Question. At what point do you distinguish the creative and the technical writing of your works? That's a good question.
Ooh. At what point do you distinguish the creative and the technical writing of your work? So so I assume that this is kind of like where is the boundary between creative and technical?
Yeah.
That's honestly quite interesting. I feel like I I feel like I I feel like I do something that a lot of especially like larger tabletop writers are kind of scared to do, which is that I kind of like let the role playing commence from moment one a lot of the time and like fully just drop you right into the world and like I think it's important for me to include a little bit of like, you know, content warnings. This is a tabletop role playing game. Yeah, this document is to help you play a game, that kind of thing. But also, like, I take a lot of creative liberties with things that other authors are a little bit hesitant to, and so yeah. How to answer this question though? A tricky one. Um, um, like I feel like I read a lot of role-playing games, and especially when I was getting started, I just did not stop reading. I read as much as I could get my hands on, and I prefer reading physical copies to digital ones, even though most of the games that I like are digital only. But I would like, you know, back when I was getting started, I would just like go to a game store and just sit and read. Like I feel like I read like the entirety of Monster Hearts in 2 sittings because I just
Based.
pulled it off, and then I was like, you know, I should buy this, and I bought it. um, and so like you kind of pick up a kind of shorthand when you do this. Like when you read a lot of books, you figure out what people are writing and also many different ways to accomplish it. And so I tend to take creative liberties in that regard and shortcut because as I was talking about earlier with my kind of like minimalist maximalist thing, I make some assumptions in my games like about who you are as a player, um and like I don't know, I feel like that there's a kind of intimacy to that too where it's like, come here, I trust you,
Yeah.
here's my game, I'm letting you play it. Yeah, so yeah.
My eyes are vanishing when I blink. I actually need to ask my modeler
I
about
just
this.
noticed that, but it's only when you look to the side.
Yeah, I think I know what the issue is. I'll talk to them about it. So on my end, well, first of all, Google is giving me 3 recommendations, which are great question, what's the question, and an hour. I really like an hour. At what point do you distinguish the creative and
At
technical
what
writing of your
point?
works? An hour.
1 hour.
1 hour. No, for me,
Yeah.
in terms of the design phase, I tend to go. What I'll do when I make a game is I usually have a strong narrative concept first. Like I have a thing that I want to do with the game. Like, you know, uh, I don't know, what's the game that I'm designing recently? Uh, I'll just make a hypothetical one. Let's say I was writing a game about gnomes who live in a hovel in the ground, and I was like, okay, so first of all, what are these gnomes like? What are their lives like? Like what sort of things do I want to say with this game? What do I want to say about the gnomes' lives? Is this a violent game? Is this a gentle game? Um, and then I'll usually try and create a compelling mechanical hook, like a compelling conflict or conflict / challenge resolution system. So, you know, roll 2d6 plus stat, and then usually from there I'll just like start kind of writing basic mechanics, write some like little playbooks usually if that's the type of game that it is, and then kind of fill in the blanks. So I feel like the creative and the technical tend to be pretty interwoven when I write, because I want the game to like I want the game to I want the game's narrative and or creative and technical elements to kind of intertwine.
Mm-hmm.
I like being a little meta sometimes in my games too. Like I like
Yeah.
Savage World does a lot of that, where it's like the seaside poet is talking to you and is like referring to the game mechanics, and like a heart is both a mechanical thing and a thing within the setting of Sapphic World.
God, I love Sapphic World, and I'm so glad that you're the one who gets to answer this question.
Yeah.
Your work has. Oh, sorry, did I interrupt you?
No, you're good.
I just like it's something that I always appreciated is that like when you specifically are writing, you like pay such close attention to like point of view, like who's giving you this rule, who's giving you these rules, in the sense that like for me in my games, I've made this a really personal thing, and been like, here's my game and this is how I play it, but you have to figure out how to play it yourself. That kind of thing. And for you, like you make up a character and you make a whole world and you play with the perspective of it, and it's so fucking innovative how you set up like your games and position the narrator and the reader in them. It's just so fucking cool, and it's something that I take a lot of inspiration from.
I'm glad that you like it. I think it's really, I don't know. I I don't really like the designer as God, you know? I think that it's good to have either like the designer themselves talking to you, or to have a character, whether that's like a in fiction character or like a voice, in the way that like I guess like Wanderhome I think it's a good example of just like a voice. But yeah, I love girls, and I love girls who design games, and I love putting girls in my games.
Yeah, your games have so many awesome girls in them.
Yours do too.
Oh, you're awesome. I'm really glad to be here with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any things before we wrap up? Any like things you want to talk about that we haven't really touched on?
Oh yeah, go buy my wife's new game. I can talk about my wife's new
Tell
game.
me about your wife's new game. I haven't really looked into this.
So my wife has been searching for a job, and it has been particularly brutal this year. And so she made a little vent game that is it's called We Regret to Inform You. I'll go ahead and post it in the chat. It's polychromatic.itch.io.
Oh, this looks good.
/reject-sim. And it's so good. There's an achievement unlock system. It's like just so good. You have to go look at it.
I'll read this after I get a job, because this is gonna make me feel sick.
It is a little bit, but yeah, yeah, it's good. It's a really good game.
God,
and I feel like she's like really been leveling her art up in a really serious way too. So like,
so sexy.
I go check out her new like art style and all the stuff she's learned since her last game, which was a couple years ago.
I haven't bought it yet, but I am rating it 5 stars, as should you. Rate every game that you see 5 stars.
That's true. Games should in general be rated 5 stars. It is the natural state of a game.
Yeah. Achievement system is so good. Unlockable palettes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so fun.
Oh, guys, I love my wife. I just would really like to take this moment to say shout out to my wife.
I love your wife as well.
Yeah, everyone loves my wife. She's a free use love receptacle.
A love dump.
She's a love dump.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm sure she's blushing from the other room.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
very cool game.
Yeah, my wife is awesome. All of her games are good. My favorite of her games is probably You Are a Wizard or Lazuli. Her older games are also so fucking cool. Argus is really worth a look.
Yeah. What's so funny is there are two games called You Are a Wizard that I really love. Called
Yeah.
You Are a Wizard and Heather Flowers You Are a Wizard.
Heather Flowers. Yeah.
Totally different games, but both great.
Yeah. I love Heather Flowers too.
Heather Flowers.
What's her it's HTHR Flowers .itch.io, is that it?
Yeah. There's also A Wizard, which is the OSR, the like horror OSR campaign, which is also really bizarre and gross, but very good.
I guess Heather's did come out first, but I think that Val's like has a graphic visual edge that cannot be understated.
Yeah. In some ways, You Are a Wizard, Heather Flowers is about a wizard finding their heart. And You're a Wizard Polychromatic is about a wizard losing their heart. Or many wizards losing their hearts.
Yeah.
Transgender.
I'm like looking at polychromatic.itch.io/wizard-game, and it is like kind of reminding me of like the sensation of falling in love with my wife, because that did happen. She designed this game and I designed the girlfriend of my girlfriend is my friend at the same time. We put them out at the same time, and like I fell in love with her at the same time.
It's a table bottom paint game, which is great.
It's the table. I did come up with that, by the way. Table bottom paint game.
Really good.
For what it's worth. So yeah, everyone go shoot your give some love to my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This game is the reason. Actually, let me put it on stream. This game is the reason why I know you, I think.
Really?
Because I saw this.
Oh my gosh, it's full circle.
What probably happened, if I had to guess, and I don't know if this is for sure, I would assume that I saw Marcy Mousewife retweet this. And then I looked at it. Yeah.
I want to be friends with her so bad. I don't think we've ever interacted a single time, but I would love to be friends with her. I think powerful mice need friends.
I love your para mouse shoal relationship.
Your
para Marcel relationship with Marcy.
Yeah. Aww.
That'd be cute though. You two should be friends. And then I saw this. I did the puzzle. I got in contact with Polly, and then I think maybe I learned that Polly was in the Possum Creek server that I was also in, and then we got to know each other. She was dating Polly, and now we're all friends.
Whoa, that's awesome.
Yeah,
friendship is real.
We got to know Bun, and I don't know. I know Crowley now because of this game. Technically,
Crowley's awesome.
I love it. Crowley is so good.
Yeah, everyone go give some love to. I can't start listing all my partners. I would love to though. And everyone go give some love to Crowley.
Yeah, I feel odd.itch.io. Get in there. Check out Roadkill City. We love creatures. We love girls, and that's all that can be said for this world. Anything else is speculation.
That's a good way to end.
Yeah.
That's a good way to end it.
Yeah, I think so. Alrighty. Thank you for being on here. I really enjoyed having you. You're free. You're free. I would say you're free to come on any time, but there's actually a schedule. So, but I would love to have you on again sometime. I think that'd be really nice.
I would love to come back sometime. I had a lot of fun, and yeah, I'm sure there's going to continue to be things to discuss.
Hell yeah.
Ooh, you know what? Let's get together. I have an idea. Let's get together after the Trans Disability Jam has wrapped, so we can talk about that.
That'd be pog. I'd love that.
That'd be so pog.
It's so poggers.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having. Oh, sorry.
I need to rate someone, and I'm not sure who.
Raid?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the Twitch thing. Yes, I
I gotta
remember.
send these people who are watching to.
Oh wait, let me see if there's anyone I know who's online.
Yeah, let's see one of your people.
TV. I don't know. You're kind of like my streamer friend. I don't know if I have any. Hmm. No, everyone on my following list is just people that I watch. It would be weird if I send us over there.
Okay, I will send everyone over to Kerbumble, who is playing Haunting Ground, which I believe is a horror game. So if you're afraid of horror, you know.
Ooh.
Yeah, everyone have a good night, and I'll see you next week with, I believe, Riley Rethall, if that's still on. So
Holy shit, really? I'm a huge
Yeah.
fan of hers. I'm gonna have to tune in.
Riley's awesome. So yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Have a good one, everyone. Bye.
Yay, thanks for having me on. Bye, 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 bye.
Bye.
Remember, if you don't like what you see, you can change it. It's up to you, really. Goodbye, good luck, and have fun